And welcome back to What If? It's the second in the What If week. I'm actually recording this prior to the recording the one from Monday. But it's actually gonna be a lot shorter. That's why I did it first. And this one comes to us from Dragon JZ, who asked the question, what if frost demons didn't exist? Now we should note that officially, like in terms of Dragon Ball lore or Dragon Ball knowledge, Frieza's race isn't actually called Frost Demons, but that is the general fandom name for them. So that is the name we agree with. And I'm perfectly fine. That Frost Demon, quite frankly, makes a lot of sense. They're very demonish looking. They're all named after cold things. Frieza, Cooler, King Cold, Chill. Frost? Yeah, Frost. I'm perfectly fine when accepting that. I've never had any issue. But the question is, what would happen if they didn't exist? And the truth is, that's a bit, when you actually stop and think about it, that's a huge change because of the relationship that Frieza and his father had with the Saiyans. Now, we should also note that Frieza's actual race aren't warriors or anything like that. They're also not much stronger than your average race. But Frieza and his father, his family lineage, are mutations. That's why they're as powerful as they are. But regardless, what would happen if they never ultimately existed? Like, what the question we have for the first ask is, what is Frieza's lineage with Frieza's lineage? What is Frieza and his family's relationship with the Saiyan? Like, I'm just checking right now. Did King Cold and Frieza actually introduce like technology to the Saiyans, like their ability to travel and stuff like that? Let me see. I'm just looking up his history right now. By mutant, because of this, he is aware of Super Saiyan legendary power, but does not fear as much as his son does. Does the disbelief, blah blah blah. I'm okay. So yeah, I'm not seeing much in terms of what his relationship with the Saiyans was like prior. Like we saw Broly and all that, but we don't know if they really introduced technology like the ability to travel through space or whatnot. We assume that might have been the case because the ships they use are Frieza Force ships. Like the Saiyan pods, when you actually stop and look at them, they're not Saiyan pods. They're Frieza's pods, but they were obviously used by the Saiyans. Like they were the Saiyans' main or the main source of transportation. Now, that being said, they were known as a warrior race, and they still go travel the stars. But they travel the stars conquering in the name of themselves or in the name of Frieza. If we are, there's just so many unanswered questions we have. Now, if we go by the idea, and maybe there is an answer there, and I can't find the answer. If someone does have the answer, let me know. But I'm going by what I know. And if we are, well, actually, we can honestly play this both ends, because this won't be a super long video. If they did not have the technology to travel on their own, and they gained it from Frieza and his father, then, then you kind of have Schitt's Creek there, because we've actually seen a little bit of what the original Saiyans before Frieza and his father came looked like, and they were pretty much just barbarians. That's what they were. They were just like savages. And that's how they rolled. That said, we did see them traveling a little bit now and then. So I guess you could make the argument that, yeah, they did still have technology, though they were still very much a warrior barbarian race, pretty much. So if think words here. If Frieza and his dad didn't come, let's go with the idea that they could travel. Eventually, they probably would have made it to Earth. You would have seen the Saiyans improve through increments, sure. You wouldn't have seen like the boost you saw with like King Vegeta or Prince Vegeta or even Broly very often. Most Saiyans were not that strong, but most Saiyans averaged anywhere from 1,000 to maybe like 2,000. Like Raditz was considered an average warrior, but individuals like Nappa, Vegeta were considered. Well, Nappa was considered elite. Vegeta was Saiyan elite or super elite, His father would have probably been considered a super elite as well. Broly was an anomaly, and Kakarot barely had a power level of 2, from what we understand. But again, his latent potential was there. So they would probably be traveling to stars, eventually winding up in places like Namek and Earth in some way, shape, or form. Now, this probably wouldn't happen for a while because they never actually went there on their own, as far as we could tell. If they ended up going there, unfortunately, because they would have still cast out Broly and Paris, like that old shtick would have that would have happened. But King Vegeta still would have lived on quite a while. In fact, I mean, do we actually have an age on King Vegeta? We know he's had to have been in his like 30s, 40s, whatever. King Vegeta. 1 second here. How old is King Vegeta? Do we got an age on him? Let's see here. King Vegeta. Let's see. Do we have? Okay, so we have in terms of an age time frame. Death dates. Unfortunately, we have they give us the age he died at, but not, or the time he died. They don't give us a time he was born. My guess, and because Saiyans age slower than us, they really only start to dramatically age once they hit their upper 70s to 80s. And it's kind of very dramatic. King Vegeta likely was somewhere in his 30s or 40s. He had the presence of a much older man. So by that logic, he'd still be in his late 50s, early 60s by the time he'd get to maybe the main series after, Vegeta's grown up somewhat. So, yeah, ultimately, and also, Goku wouldn't be on Earth. Goku would be on either way, you look at this scenario, Goku is on the Saiyan homeworld. He is part of the Saiyans, and he'd still be a low-class warrior. At least until he starts to really climb up the ranks and, get stronger. But ultimately, I don't see you don't get like Kaioken, you don't get training in the turtle style, you don't get any of that. He's just another Saiyan. And when they hit Earth, it all depends on which Saiyans hit Earth. The only real obstacles they're going to be dealing with are Roshi, maybe Kami if he decides to get involved, and the Ox King. Roshi, when he really goes full power, is actually pretty strong enough to take out a lot of low-class Saiyans. But that's only him going full power, and he can't hold that very long. He can't sustain it. Even in Super, where he actually had been training more, he still can't sustain it. So unfortunately, unless it's Vegeta himself or Nappa or anyone like that going, Roshi will ultimately, on his own, keep the planet safe. Going to Namek is going to kill any Saiyan currently alive in this scenario. Because Nail's power is around, I believe, 41,000. It's either 41 or 42. I feel confident it's 41. And that's like twice as strong. That's over twice as strong as just Vegeta's on his own. Now, they can still make the moon and go from there. But ultimately, the sad truth of this is, let's hypothetically say for a moment, they do manage to conquer Namek and even conquer Earth. Well, Kami can use the Earth Dragon Balls and fix things up with them. Maybe protect the planet, whatever. Namek, unfortunately, is lost. They can't wish anyone back, whatever. You gotta fast forward because there's no Goku, so there's no... Honestly, the Red Rune Army would probably be ruling most of the planet at that point, and then the Saiyans come in and wreck their shop. I changed wreck shop with them. And so then you get basically Boo eventually being awoken by Babidi, and then Boo goes on a rampage, destroys the planet, and just goes by, and as the Supreme Kai so eloquently put it, he would have wiped out your Saiyan race with a breath. And there you go. And ultimately, Boo just keeps destroying stuff until eventually Beerus just says, what is going on? Hey, Pink Blob. It's like, no, Boo! It's like, yeah, you too. And then, unfortunately, universes get taken out. So, that's if they can travel. If they can't travel, it's actually even worse. Because you don't even get the interference of Saiyans on other worlds. You don't even get the possibility of a Saiyan trying to help out or be good. And Broly's just being Broly, doing his thing. Actually, that would be the one you'll hiccup with the Boo thing. If for some reason they were able to come across Broly and Planet Vampa, and Broly actually goes full on Akari on him, Because we know Akari Broly was able to go toe to toe and actually overpower Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta. It wasn't until Goku and Vegeta went God that actually no, even base form. This was before Akari. I take it back. Akari Broly was able to beat the snot out of God Vegeta and God Goku before they went blue. And then it evened it out, but then he went Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan Berserk, and it was nuts. I do like the Super. It starts out a little slow, the Dragon Ball Super movie Broly, but it ultimately played out like really well. I really do like that movie. But yeah, it's that because, and remember, those are Vegeta and Goku who have already been enhanced their base forms to God status, and at that point they far supersede Boo's powers at that point. Like their base form alone. Even when once Boo did some training, like he slimmed up and got buff and all, he looked like a friendly version of Super Boo. And he was able to go toe to toe with Goku, but Goku was only in base form, and even in base form, he was more than able to go toe to toe with him. So yeah, Broly would actually wreck Boo's shop. I did it again. He would wreck shop with Boo. He really would, and Bobby would just be, "What's going on? How? Why?" Is it you? Tell me, do you have a ship? Yes. And then give us a ship. So yeah, and eventually then they'd go find Vegeta, assuming it wasn't destroyed, and get revenge on Vegeta. And then Beerus would show up, and that would be the one big difference here, is that Beerus shows up, and eventually finds the Super Saiyan God. It comes off like Broly, and remember, Broly was able to manhandle Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Goku. It took Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta to completely overwhelm Broly. Now, that being said, it's still implied, even though Goku said that he might have been stronger than Beerus, it is still implied just by how calm Beerus was the whole time. He could have taken on Broly if he wanted to. But he probably would have given him a good fight, and that's exactly what I hear. They would actually clash effectively. The problem is Broly doesn't have any control over his form, so he's got to... unfortunately, Beerus does ultimately end up putting Broly down. But he gives thanks, like, "Thank you. This was quite the impressive battle indeed." And they do a kindness to pair, because like, my son, he's gone. It's like, well, bring him back. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, well, actually, no, if he had Kaizen, there's no bringing him back. But still, they maybe do something nice or whatever. Point being, the universes still get blown up. Like, the universes still get wiped out of existence. Because of Zeno. So, yeah, if the Frost Demons actually didn't exist, it kind of screws up the entirety of Dragon Ball Z. Someone actually made a point saying that, because someone made a suggestion for a video type, and the other person made a comment saying he kind of tries to avoid the darker endings if he can. It's not that I try to avoid the darker endings, it's just not a lot of the stories I do end up having a dark ending. That said, I don't avoid them. If it has a dark ending like this would, yeah, I go that route. And unfortunately, that's the case here. Amazingly, the Frost Demons are kind of integral to the existence of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super Dragon Ball. But either way, that's just my thoughts. What did you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you have any ideas for who wins? More what ifs? Put in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put that in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want notifications. This is on Tuesday now, so I'll be back tomorrow with another part of the What If Goku What If. So keep your eyes out for that. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks next time.